Somebody said you are so stunning. Thank you. Somebody on TikTok. Um. So I'm not gonna be on here long. I found something while I was searching, and it has given me a headache. So I want to come show y'all this. I was reading somebody post. As you all know, Albany, Georgia is going absolutely viral right now for the wrong reasons. For one, there's been an uptick in crime, but I found out via one of the young ladies in Albany that the murders are going unsolved. Like murders, plural. So it automatically made me think about commodities. So I started looking for both sites on the map to see if there's any geologists posted about bauxite. I know bauxite is a very high dollar mineral that is mined from that area. I just came in here and started talking. Hopefully people from Albany will get this, or people from South Georgia, um because I got a funny suspicion. Now you got to keep in mind this is the area where that Wuhan thing was dropped off, in this same city. Okay. This is the same city that 4 branches of the military has operated. You really don't really even see that often. Okay. The Marines are currently there. The Army has operated Albany. The Navy, as well as the Air Force, have all been inside of Albany. In particular, World War II. Um, in fact, Turner Field was named after an Army officer, Turner Field on the east side of Albany, which when I showed this map, get some people in here. Hey guys, get some people in here. People will better understand why everybody in America, when you hear people talk about proxy wars and all of this, you better pay attention to whatever city you're located in, whatever city you're from. Look deeper into the commodities in that area, because we're not going to war with other countries for commodities. We're just not. We're just not. Okay? During the world wars, World War II in particular, you had black men in Albany training German soldiers by the thousands how to fly planes, double engine planes, and these big, huge 4 engine Navy planes at one point. They trained Germans, and they trained Royal Britons. One of the German soldiers that was trained in Albany went on to be over the British Royal Military as well as the German Royal Military, trained in Albany, Georgia. Now, this guy in particular, he ended up being over all of the aviation for Queen Elizabeth, trained by black men in Albany, Georgia, kind of wiped away from history. You probably didn't even hear about that unless you're in the military. You may not even know about that if you're even in the military. I was raised on the east side, not far from Turner Field, had no clue about any of this. Just didn't know. Um, so I'm about to show you guys what I found from looking at an old geology report of Albany, and it's kind of I think the murders may be. Oh, I don't want to say this. I just don't want to say it. I'm just gonna show y'all what I see. Hey guys. Hey y'all. I got a headache. I got a headache. Guys, I just found out those murders were going unsolved in Albany. I think like two people got killed Saturday. Somebody got killed yesterday. Some kid got killed, I think, on accident yesterday. It's just every time you log on, it's something about Albany. I think it's organized crime, and when you see the amount of money that could potentially be made, it makes sense. The organized crime angle. Hey guys. Hey guys. Now I want to do a full show on YouTube. I don't know whether I'm gonna do it tonight. I think it's 9 o'clock already. But I found some files that I need to go over on YouTube, but I just wanted to do this really quickly about Albany. It's so much history about Albany. I probably could do 30 days on just Albany alone. Hey guys on TikTok. I says thank you for liking the live. Hey y'all. Let's see, can I get some people from Albany in the chat? I let's see, can I get some people from Albany in the chat? If you know somebody from Albany, let me see. Let me see. Let me see right quick. Oil. Let me see. Even if they don't see it today, they're probably definitely gonna see it tomorrow. I think I should be live on Facebook. You're from Albany. Good. Okay. No, Albany, Georgia, not Albany, New York. I'm sorry. You teach in Albany. Okay, good. Okay. Now also, y'all remember when I showed the Epstein files on here and the Epstein plane going in and out of Albany, Georgia? I literally can do 30 days of Albany because that city in particular is like White House level stuff. Literally White House level stuff. In fact, I'm going to show you on this map where this little bitty highway in Albany, US 19 on the same map, is named after two presidents. Little bitty highway 82 in on the Albany stretch is named after a US president. Really eerie stuff, okay? And I think I just found something that I want to show you guys. Get more people in here. Hey guys, load on in. I know I'm very, very shadow banned. I haven't been on here in a while, and this is how shadow ban works. Now I'm just gonna be on here for a little while because, like I said, I'm about to show a map on here. Share my screen. I really could have did this pre-recorded, but I need to share my screen. I need y'all to see this live because I need some people from Albany because of where they have the Flint River placed. I'm kind of thrown off a little bit. You said my volume's low? I said my volume's low. Is that better? Where US 19 is placed, somebody said Albany, Georgia history and crime discuss local issues. They do. Okay. Well, I'm about to show a map here. About to share my screen and show something that I think may or may not be why the Wuhan lab experiment was dropped off there. Albany may be tied into World War III. A lot of people from Albany have no clue it was tied into World War I and World War II, where we actually trained thousands of white guys. The black men in Albany did. The Buffaloes. Okay, so let's see here. Let me share my screen really quickly. Reason why I say get people from Albany inside. I should be live on Facebook. People from Albany may see this. I don't know. I might not even keep this up. I kind of feel like I'm in danger. I don't know. What Candace be saying? I'm in danger. Girl. Let's see. Let me share my screen really quickly. Put myself on the screen. I might have to take myself off the screen. Hold on. Because y'all got to see the whole map. So I'm about to take myself off the screen. So people who are joining late, I'm here. I'm just not on the screen. Hey guys, on TikTok, I'm showing a map right now. A government map. An old government map from the 50s that I found initially on US Lineage, but I wanted to go to the source of the map. And so, yeah, it led me back to the actual government site where the origin of the map started. So you may not be able to see it on TikTok, but yes, I'm on YouTube right now. Showing this map. Now, when the young lady on Facebook told me that a lot of the murders were going unsolved in Albany, it made me think about organized crime, and it made me think about bauxite. Bauxite is basically the mineral, or it's like a clay or dirt that you can extract aluminum from. In fact, for people who watch the commodities market, you probably heard a report not long ago, like maybe last month before last, that Nigeria found a payload of bauxite worth about $3 trillion. Okay. So I knew when I heard that, I've been knowing that bauxite was one of the things that was mined out of Albany outside of just regular water. The water source in Albany is artesian water. I mean, coming out of the pipes. That's a whole nother day. That'll take me a whole nother day to explain the amount of water that's taken from Albany and distributed all over the world. Mind you, none of this money is kicked back to the citizens. Not a penny of it. Water is a whole nother topic. Okay, a whole totally nother topic. Like I said, I could do 30 days on just Albany. Okay. First thing I'm going to show you is, like I said, I was looking for bauxite, which would be this massive argillaceous sand or gravel, TSP. Okay. As you can see, this is the Flint River. It's the east side of Albany right there. That says Mulberry School. I don't think that exists anymore. I'm not sure. If you're from Albany, you're familiar with the sand dunes on this map. It's classified properly as the fossil sand dunes. The dirt in Albany contains quartz crystals, all of it. So if you go outside in your yard, if you're in Albany, Georgia, pick up a handful of dirt and just let it fall out of your hand and look at it. It's quartz crystals. That dirt is also mined out of Albany. The dirt. Now, I'm looking for this bauxite. And it says right here, the striped orange is a massive amount, right? So I have a massive amount of TSP here and a massive amount of TSP here on the east side. Now, I was raised about right here, literally, where it says coastline. These are the railroad tracks. The house that I was raised in sit about right here, if I'm reading this map correctly. Okay? If I'm reading this map correctly. I could be reading it wrong. That's why I wanted some people from Albany to see. But this is the river. These are the railroad tracks. The main set of tracks that run through the east side. The thing that threw me off about the map is where Highway 82 sits. See, this is Highway 82. As you can see, it's named after Taft, President Taft. It says Taft Memorial Highway. I had no clue that Highway 82 was named after Taft. No fucking clue. Now you can also see this is a U.S. Naval Reservation. That's the Marine. This is separate from when the Navy operated Albany. Okay. When the Navy operated Albany separate from the Marines, the Navy was at Turner Field, training in aviation, training on those big big planes. I don't know, I guess 4-engine planes. This is Highway 19, and this is another thing that kind of confused me about the proximity of how this map is drawn. This is East Albany, but 19 runs in a weird way. To me, it seemed like 19 should be farther over here. But as you can see here, Highway 19 is Franklin D. Roosevelt. I had no idea Highway 19 was Franklin D. Roosevelt. Okay, and this is Radium Springs. So you can see we're right. Here's the Radium Springs Country Club, Radium Springs, Holly. It seems like the Marine base is placed. I say Marine. Okay, Supply Center. I don't know. I don't know why the Marine base is this close to Radium Springs. I don't know. But there's a lot of radio towers in Albany. We got 2 presidents so far. We got Taft, William Howard Taft, hated him. And we have Franklin D. Roosevelt, hated him too. And we have a lot of these orange dots. Now, if I found both sites here, then that means both sites sits in a neighborhood on the east side of Albany. Are y'all still with me in the chat? Let me make sure you guys are following along here in the chat. Please get some people from Albany here in this chat. I have to show you guys something. Both sides. All right. I was about to say, if I'm reading this map correctly, then where it says coastline here, this would be Broad Avenue. Okay. This will be Wheeler Street, the street that I was raised on, with a water tower here on Wheeler Street, which would be correct. Second Mount Olive would be here. Clark Avenue would be here. I hope y'all can see my pointer, because I may be wrong, but I may be right. Coates, what was that right there? Was that Coates and Clark? Coates and Clark factory would be here. And this big ass massive amount of bauxite right behind the mill. Worth a lot of money. So if I got organized crime and not seen this map, I'm the government. I made this map. Nobody is going to go looking for this fucking map. Then that means I'm going to have to destabilize these families so I can get to that. If I haven't already found a way to get to that. To me, that this is behind them. This might be what, Cromartie Beach or something? This is Mulberry. This is the park. There's a park back there, if my memory serves me correctly. Coates and Clark, a road, a park, and then homes. All of these will be homes. Here's another interesting fact. Okay, you see all these different fonts. Okay, we have something called gravel here. It says gravel. It says fossil sand dunes, gravel. It says pit right here. It says oil right here at this dot. So that means I'm on the east side of Albany. This says oil. And I'm finna prove that it says oil because it says it again on this same map. This is the sand dunes. Highway 82 runs somewhere through here. Supposed to, but it has Highway 82 lower. That's what I said. This is a map from the 50s. So shit could be moved around. But the sand dunes, you can't move the sand dunes, and you can't move all those railroad tracks. So I know the railroad track sat directly behind the house that I was raised in. And there was a water tower on the street that I was raised on, which would be this water tower right here and these railroad tracks. That means oil was right here behind the railroad tracks. If you're in Albany modern day, that means Big Daddy's is somewhere right here. Family Dollars, that whole plaza, Shackleford Plaza, is somewhere right here. That means Albany State would be across the street from these sand dunes, unless it's another fossil sand dune somewhere in Albany that's covered up, that's not exposed. What is this? Okay, as you can see, this is a government website. I initially found this map on our website, US Lineage, and then I went to find the source of the site, the map, and then it led me to this site. Now let me show you some more stuff. Okay, this is just on the east side. So I got fossil sand dunes, which is quartz crystal. Okay, just regular sand, not just the sand in the sand dune. All the sand over here is quartz crystal. I got the Flint River here, which is limestone. Most of this stuff is on karst topography. You have radium, which is a byproduct of uranium, which you hear all the billionaires all the time talking about uranium. Okay, all these towers. Okay, so let's go across the river, downtown Albany. There's Monroe High, Broad School, Highland School, Carver Park Junior High School. Okay, City Hall. You have all these black dots. Trinity School. Here's the railroad. Let's follow the railroad, right? Let's follow the railroad. There's Cleveland, there's St. Teresa, Magnolia, and then there's oil. And then there's all these black dots. And it says right here, if you can see my cursor here in the middle of the screen, it says oil again. So that's twice that oil was found. So the origin of this map is after World War II, after the Royal Soldiers of Germany and Britain was trained by the black men in Albany, geologists were digging then in the 40s. Then they kept digging in the 50s because at that time, water was their interest. Okay, water has always been a thing in Albany since the Indian times. Thoronotiska, which was an Indian village, it was always a water thing. The water was called sky water. There was a link to the Mayans from that sky water link. They said it was possible cave system in Albany, history, archaeology stuff, right? So they were digging from that standpoint, and then they started digging more and more wells, so much so that they started building buildings in Albany, Georgia. They could be any kind of building. It could be like a dilapidated looking building. It could be like a house, and on the inside of it will be empty, but there will be a well in there pumping water 24 hours, 24/7, pumping water. But it looks like a building from just a regular, like it could have been an abandoned shop. Or it looks like a house. It has curtains, the whole 9 yards. Eerie shit about Albany. It has curtains. It's in a neighborhood. You don't know. There's only a well is inside of there. The person comes and check on it in the dead of the night and take whatever they need out, and then from there, that water is bottled up. There's many artesian water brands. This water is sent all over the world. Albany pumps enough water probably for all of the United States. That's just how much water is pumping out of Albany and filtered out of all. If you're in Albany and you get like a tester, like a water tester, and you get tap water and you test the water straight from the tap, if it's not pure artesian water, you're damn near getting poisoned. You're getting poisoned because the water that comes out is artesian water. In fact, Albany was called the Artesian City at one point. But then they stopped calling it that and start calling it the Good Life City. So you wouldn't know about the water operation. Again, that's a whole nother day. We're talking about oil. And again, I pulled this map up to see what side of town both site was on. Because it looked like a lot of to me, I see a lot of east side activity going on as if somebody could be targeting. So I said, well, maybe there's both sides on the east side. And then I look at the map, big ass east side, and a big payload of something that I think is both sides. But then right below it, oil. And then you skip hop, more oil. And then there's Dawson Road. Let's go. Okay, there's Dawson Road, Slappy. I wanted this map to not be Albany so bad. Thank you so much for the heart on TikTok. I appreciate that. I wanted this map to not be Albany so bad. There's oil. That's Dawson Road. There's Hugh Mills Stadium. Mind you, this is from like the 50s. And I'm looking for Highway 19. US Highway 19. There's another tower. Plenty towers in Albany because you've had four military branches operate in Albany at one point. Not all together, but they've all been inside of Albany. So operations that happen in Albany are military level operations. An old cemetery here, Crown Hill Cemetery, Lake Loretta, so people can know exactly where I am. I'm looking for US Highway 19. I lost it. Okay, there's the airline. Tiff Park, but Tiff Park is over here. I don't know how this map is made. I just know it's Albany. I just know where Albany State is located. I know where the east side is. I know where the sand dunes are. And it says oil. And I know I can read very well. Let me get back to Highway 19 because it's named after Roosevelt. And there's another president that name is attached to Albany. Let's see. Where you at? Let's follow 19. Let's follow 19 on up. So I can get which other president is tied in. Now, it could be Jeff Davis. Now, I have my own theories on Jeff Davis because they tried to say Jeff Davis, and these are gravel pits. They're also mined. By gravel, you don't think of gravel. You can think of like a crystallized rock they use to make concrete and all that kind of stuff. Let me see. And here's another big payload of both sides. See these striped orange and white. Again, Nigeria just bragged about finding about $3 trillion worth of both sides. And there was a little bitty, almost like a little bitty dot on their map. These are big ass swaths of this stuff. you know. It's another president connected to Highway 19. I'm trying to find Highway 19. I can't find it. My eyes are just crossed my head. Hurts bad. Um, I have a headache. Let's see. There's a radio tower, another radio tower. Um, this is calls for Palmyra Road. Let me see. This is calls for you to be a little bit more. Keep your eye on the swivel in Albany, and you might need to get this to some men. I like my whole life. Okay, childhood, running up and down the street, playing Foursquare, racing in the street, all of that. I didn't know oil was right behind us. Okay, didn't know. Did not know. Um, I didn't know black men trained white guys to fly airplanes. I didn't know. Now, can you imagine the kind of, you know, pride we would have had as kids knowing that our granddads and uncles, there we go, Highway 19, knowing that our granddads and uncles trained these people, taught these people how to fly airplanes. They didn't even know how to fly. The descendants of these people are over here in our country calling shots today. You guys didn't even know how to fly. You guys, what did you even have to bring to the table? And the only reason, we ended up teaching these white guys, these foreigners, these full Nazis, because there was also an airfield built in Americas that ironically oil was struck in Americas, Georgia as well. And they cleared out Americas, pushed all those people off of that land in Sumter County, and end up building an airfield there and importing all those Nazis to be trained there as well. So it seemed like, and I knew about that, but it seems like a pattern here. So Jefferson Davis, who I think was a full black guy, Jefferson Davis had a house in Albany. Now they said Jefferson Davis had a house in Albany, but he was never at the house. If he did, the nigga had a house in Albany. In fact, it was plenty houses named after presidents in downtown Albany. I don't know whether they was there or not. I don't know. But it was a one room. It was some big, huge place that Jefferson Davis had in Albany. And something was called Chautauqua. The Chautauqua, which is definitely an Indian name. I believe Jefferson Davis, who was a Confederate, was a full nigga. I believe he was fully black. If it's more research, don't take that. We don't know who he was. Okay, I believe he was a black guy. I believe the Davis family is the direct descendant of Jefferson Davis. That's what I believe. I don't think nobody will be able to change my belief on that one. And that's the Doherty County, Lee County line. Another radio tower station there. Is there any oil out here? Gillianville Road. Another radio tower. These radio towers are all over Albany. I'm about to read the chat in a minute. I'm not ignoring y'all. I just can't see the chat because I'm on this map right now. But get some people in Albany. It's oil twice on here. And I'm sure there are more of these maps. This map explains a lot. It's a lot of oil. It's a lot of dots over here. It's a lot of dots over here. This is Baldwin. What street? This is Baldwin. This is Broad Avenue. Still on Broad. Okay, so I'm confused because this Broad Avenue, the railroad tracks are going up. Is it two sets Bro, no, this is right. This is right. I was right. Okay, yeah, I was right. So my house sat right on Wheeler, sandwiched between Wheeler and Broad. So I was right. So this Broad, that would be Big Daddy's right there. You go under that little tunnel and you keep straight on Broad. You see that set of railroad tracks to your right, and behind it is oil. What the is sitting by what is there? Is a hotel there? Like an old hotel? Did they I feel like that one point not long ago they were talking about running a pipeline in Albany. I wonder did they get it? I wonder did they actually do it? Because if they've ran pipelines in Albany, then that means they already pumping this oil source. These oil sources don't dry up. Oil is not like a well with water in it. A well with water in it in Albany is not even going to dry up ever. Oil is not going to dry up either. Oil, they just pump it from under the ground in the pipelines, and then a lot of times they send it out to the Gulf. And then once it go out to the Gulf, America does what it want to do with it. But if they were pumping it out of oil derricks, which in the Americas, when they struck oil in Americas, they actually had derricks, oil derricks in America pumping the oil out of Americas. And then the white guys came. Then the Nazis, full Nazis came under Eisenhower, who was over the War Department at the time, who is a full Third Reich German. How was Eisenhower ever? How was he of the War Department? How was he the president? A full Third Reich. Fully. That's another story for another day. But they ended up pumping the oil out of America's Georgia. I don't know. Maybe they dropped the pipeline there too, and they're running that oil out somewhere too on some private property, and it's being I don't know. I don't know, guys. They probably not running it to the Gulf of America. They're probably running it out to the coast of Georgia and then putting it on in reserves that way. Because it seems like the Gulf of Georgia would be closer to run a pipeline. I don't have the mental capacity right now to figure this out. I just wanted to show you guys. I got a headache. I think men from Albany, South Georgia, need to look at this. And it's both sides mined from multiple places in South Georgia. Now let them downplay it if you want to. Because see, that's how they do these areas like this. These cities like this, they downplay them and say, oh, it's just poverty there. Look, guys, it's nothing but poverty there. Look, the blacks are fighting each other. Black people that I know from Albany really love each other. Like, I think, in my opinion, if black, colored, whatever you want to call us today, if they knew who was doing the crime, they'd handle it. If they knew who kids was doing the crime, that's the mentality that I think we've always had. If the men and the women knew who was doing the crime, they would handle it. They don't know who's doing the crime. You also got to keep in mind there is a lot of money, and we need to actually get you off this land altogether, especially on this side. And see, white folks play the long game. They discovered oil in the 50s in multiple places. And right here, it says gas, guys. It also says gas right here. So you have oil right here, and you hop skip right here, gas. So yeah, I need to really read this map some more. And again, water all over the place. So when it says water like this, it's either a water tower or a building pumping water discreetly, or one of those two. A lot of discrete water pumping activities going on in Albany because, again, water is exported out of Albany. It could be exported. Uh, it's exported commercially, but you don't see, to my knowledge, a company that is saying we get water from Albany. Because if you do see that, then that means you would have to pay some kickbacks because you're getting water off of people's heirs' property. You're right here on the east side. You there could be possibly a mining operation right here, just right up under your nose, and you don't even know. You're damn sure getting water and you're exporting artesian water out for sure. It could be exported through Miller Coors. They got a big facility down there. On the low, no names on the bottles, like a white label type. They could, I don't know. I'm just speculating because I can only speculate because I can only think about the post that I read from the young lady in Albany who said the crimes are not being solved. Now, when you see stuff like this, and this might get to the upper level in Albany, once I figure more of this out, yeah, I might even get it to some people. I get this more so to, I don't give a damn about the mayor down there, none of them folks, right? I care more so about the people who've been here, who have family here, who have to live here, who have kids here. With this amount of money and potential commodities, we know they're mining dirt. We know they're getting water out right now, like been doing it. We know they don't give the community anything. We know Albany has a very high city budget, like $300 and something million. And King Randall from Albany put that out. That's more of a city budget than most of Metro Atlanta. Albany, small little Albany city budget is like 200. How much is it? It's not that much less than Atlanta city budget when they compared the two. I forget the exact number, but somebody made a comparison, and it wasn't much less than the city of Atlanta. Mind you, there's no heavy traffic. There's almost nothing there. They have the buildings that are abandoned. They don't focus on enterprise, or do they? And we're not even talking about the pecan industry. Doherty County produces more pecans than anywhere else on the planet. And we're not even talking, that's a whole nother day. This video was just about oil. It goes to show you how much money is covertly being taken out by somebody. Now, I remember my neighborhood grandmom, Miss Hayward, told us as kids that Albany was ran by the mob. White mobsters. Now, the more I look at it, all these presidents, I mean, I haven't seen a city with this much president name shit in it. I don't even think Atlanta got this much president name stuff in it. In fact, they took Jefferson Davis' house, if I ain't mistaken. I think they took Jefferson Davis' house out of Albany and brought it to Stone Mountain, and it burned down. Hold on, let me see. Was that Jefferson Davis' house? Hold my mule. Jefferson Davis house, Albany. Could have been somebody else. Let me just make sure. It was a house that went from Albany to Stone Mountain. It says Jefferson Davis got a park in Fitzgerald, Georgia. They said Jefferson Davis just disappeared in South Georgia. Like, was nowhere to be found. Yeah, he was somewhere to be found, all right. I'm looking for the house real quick because I want to be correct, because it could have been another president. I just know it was somebody's house that was in Albany that was tied to Jefferson Davis. It was Jefferson Davis house. His name was on the deed, and then maybe one of his family members took it over, so it could have been on somebody else, under somebody else's name. But the house supposedly got moved from Albany to Stone Mountain Park, where the Confederacy thing was, and it got burned down. I don't know who house that was. They're just calling it the Davis house. Okay, so I see right here, somebody made a thing about it. July 3rd, 2009. The most significant event associated with the house was reception given former president of the Confederacy, Jeff Davis, in 1884. The Davis House, Albany Little Theater, Albany, Georgia. Wait, is this still there? So it must have been multiple properties. Okay, hold on. Let me show y'all this. So I'm trying to see whether this was the house that was moved. Y'all can see that? It may be multiple Davis properties. This home, this was the Davis house, built in 1853. Shortly after, it's called Davis house. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. This is not the house that I'm referring to, though, but this is a nice house. Maybe this is the house that's still in Albany. But the house that I'm referring to, there's a white house. Even so, I don't know. This may be the house. I don't know. This may be the house. Most significant event associated with the house was a reception given former president. Oh, they're trying to say, this is what they're saying. They're saying it's the Davis house, but they gave a reception to Jefferson Davis. It wasn't his house, although his name was on the deed. And then they wanted to honor Jefferson Davis by moving the house up to Atlanta, home of the Confederacy, at Stone Mountain Park. But it wasn't his house. See, that's what I'm saying. The cover-up is real. The cover-up is real. I believe this was a darkie, and the Davis family is this guy. This guy's descendants. Because he's got this Chautauqua thing. Chautauqua. Chautauqua. No white person in America would name nothing associated with them Chautauqua. I can assure you that. Chautauqua Association of Albany. What? So Jefferson Davis was received at the train depot in Albany with a 21-gun salute. Bro, what's up with this city, bro? It's something going on. Man. Now I'm gonna do some more content on Albany, but I just wanted to show y'all these oil, and I wasn't even looking for the oil. I was looking for the bauxite, but there's oil there twice, and there's gas here, right here, natural gas. And the fossil sand dunes, and the explanation of everything. And it's radium here. Come on, clear up, map. Radium springs here. A full mining operation has always been going on here. Water here. Just mined from everywhere. Okay. There used to be what was it called? The peel factory. Merck Chemical used to sit right here somewhere off of, see all this QTR right here, all this QTR and QYT. Here is the explanation. QYT, Younger River Terrace deposits, sand and gravel below 175 feet. QTR, Residuum limestone Cert, boulders, Eocene and Oligocene ages, Pleistocene sand, and recent sediments. All of this is very important. Very important. Okay. With the Ocala limestone, that's like from Jackson, the Jackson era. Very old city. This is a very old place, Albany. If you kind of to give like a, I'm about to get off, but to give like a visual, if all of this was covered in water, Albany, a part of it on the east side of the Flint River, if all of this is covered in water, then there's like a hill up under the ocean. All this is covered by the ocean. But then there's a hill in the ocean. And then the water recedes, but the hill is the first peak out of the water. That's the east side of Albany. And so when the flood of 94 came, this east side sits on the elevation. The flood of 94, I think the waters rose to like 46 feet, 40 something feet. The east side did not flood, although it's right here by the river. Like I was raised right here. Right here. Our house didn't get a piece of water. I mean, we wasn't even evacuated because this sits on such a mountain of limestone is what the east side sits on. It's like a huge mountain of limestone, but you cannot tell if you're crossing the bridge. It just looked like trees. It's like a tall mountain of limestone that if they can move everybody off, they'll chip away at that limestone. They'll sell the shit out of that limestone. They will mine the limestone. They don't have to. They can mine this both site. They already got the water. I don't know whether they got this oil or not. I just wanted to show y'all. And then we're going to talk about this fossil sand dune because I actually read what they said this was. And it's and imagine like Godzilla. We will go over it later. I just wanted to show y'all this and get your thoughts on it. I just want to get your thoughts on it, guys. I just want to get y'all thoughts on that. Hey guys, you said y'all only see the map. Did y'all see that or what? Oh my God! Don't tell me y'all didn't see what I just saw. Don't tell me y'all didn't see that the whole time. Don't tell me y'all didn't see everything I was just showing y'all. Don't tell me y'all can't see what I just showed y'all. Did y'all see what I just showed y'all? Yes or no? Because I'm finna be so hurt. I got a massive headache. I need to make sure y'all just saw that. Yeah, they do have a full marine base. Yeah, of course. Of course. Albany. Y'all just saw that or no? Did y'all see that or no? Somebody said most of it in parts. We saw it. Okay. Thank God. Because I was about to go, like, I know I just showed that for nothing. Like, I just needed to get it to somebody else's eyes. Y'all saw the map. Y'all saw the oil. Y'all saw the gas. You saw the both sides. Okay. You saw the sand dune. Okay. All right. Georgia Power is on Raymond Springs Road, but the citizens in the city of Albany can only get water and electricity from water, gas, and light unless they live outside the area. And so to the water bad. Okay, if you live in Albany, they have these water test strips Get water just straight out the tap. And if you got a spigot outside, get some out of that too. We used to drink water straight out the spigot. The water was I remember being a kid, the water was so crisp and good and naturally cold. I mean, childhood is calling. The water was so good. Test the water with these strips, because if they doing that and they have separated the supply of water, it could be poisoning people. They could be poisoning people off. But see, you can poison people till you blue in the face. You can poison people till you blue in the face. No. You just wasting your time. It's a waste of time poisoning people down there. But they could have separated the water source so that they could sell it. And I did find a file. Let me tell you, the water is a whole nother topic. But I'll show you this real quick since you just brought it up and you're from Albany. Can you read this? This is from the War Department, 1920. Okay. Request. Okay. I hope you can see this. Maybe I need to shrink it. Can you see it? Can you see? Yeah, you can see it. Okay. Okay. Have U.S. Attorney, South Georgia, institute action injunction against Hardaway Contracting Co. Inc. under contract for Dougherty County Power Company of Albany, Georgia, to restrain building dam at Porter Shoals across Flint River. To restrain building dam at Porter Shoals across the Flint River. Dougherty County Power Company of Albany, Georgia. This is 1920. So, yeah, somebody said the people have to stand up and say something. And when they stand up, they got to know what they're talking about. See, you can stand up in Albany, that in a city that the mob run, but you better have your facts together, and you better. Albany is full of vets, full of military. I mean, it's a military city. You better have some backing, because these people do not play by rules. There are no rules with white people when you're dealing with high dollar commodities. They're going to make it look like a poor city, make you feel inadequate, take all of the major jobs out of the city so they can make it poor, because they thought that the crime would spike from there. When they pulled all of those major corporations out of Albany, the crime was supposed to spike then. They thought that Albany people was going to start killing each other and for money, but that's not what happened, because that's not the mind of the people there. Okay. It's a pedigree there. Okay. You're talking about the people who descended from some of the best farmers on the planet, descended from some of the best soldiers, aviation, marine. You're talking about people who were inventors. A lot of inventions came from that area. So they're not gonna just think about killing as the first thing. What they're gonna do is they're gonna start little businesses, and they're gonna start baking cakes. They're gonna start building barbecue grills or start doing plumbing on the side. That's what people do. They pivot. They don't just, let me just go kill somebody right quick. But that's what was supposed to happen. But since that did not happen, now we might have to bring in some organized crime, because we got to get the crime. Because they tried that when I was a kid. I remember when I was a kid, Albany was the murder capital at one point. When I was a child, I don't know whether that was when I was in middle school. It had to be middle school. You know, they had CME there, and it's like all of these gangs just popped up out the blue. Like, well, what's a Crip? What's a C? What is that? Like, it just popped up out of nowhere, these gangs. And then crime spiked. But where did these people come from? They sure did integrate them very well with the rest of the kids. They integrated them very well. But as you know, the CIA is always at work. And when you think about it, who gets to organize crime when you're in a little city that is very valuable? A lot of president activity. Bill Clinton always in Albany. Bill Clinton always down there. He stay in Albany as if he owns something down there. And again, I did track Epstein flights in, going in and out of Albany. And I did cross-reference that with that particular date of things that was happening in Albany. Why would Epstein ever be in Albany? It's plenty little airplanes where you can land your private plane in Albany. I mean, not in Albany, outskirts of Albany, whether you need to refuel or not. There's plenty place. I mean, just go on Flight 24 and zoom all the way out and look at all the airfields in Georgia. You can land your plane anywhere. You're on private. You're not on a commercial. You're not even on nothing even close to a commercial flight. Albany should never be on the Epstein files, period. But Epstein was big time, deep state, Mossad, CIA, Department of State. Even if you look at it, I was this years old. I'm gonna have to do this on a whole nother day. Secret Service is in 3 places in Georgia. Secret Service only deals with big money transactions, okay? The Secret Service only investigate big money transactions. They don't investigate petty crimes, nor do they investigate petty cash. Okay? Big money stuff. The Secret Service is in 3 places in Georgia. I found out this past May. As of May 2025, the Secret Service was in 3 places in Georgia: Atlanta, Savannah, and Albany. That's it. Why? Because this is a broke city? You think the Secret Service is investigating when a little black kid gets killed on the east side of Albany? Oh. No, there are mobs down there. There are mobs with, concrete companies and landfills, both used to hide bodies. Boy, keep up. Okay. These people do not play by rules. There are no rules when it comes to high dollar commodities. And if it just so happens that your family sit on the high dollar commodities, and you better develop the mentality of your granddads. You know why they could not make Albany a sundown town? They tried. White guys tried. In the 50s, not long after this map, they tried to make Albany sundown town, and they was trying to do it for the longest. And I think this is when the white people first found out. I mean, this is when some of the black people first found out that Albany was ran by the mob, or trying to be ran by the mob. They tried to lynch black people in Albany because they wanted to scare them off the land, turn it into a sundown town, do all the things, desegregate. And it didn't happen because they started lynching. And then the black men in Albany also started lynching them. So it was a big thing. It was a huge thing. You got to ask the elders that are still alive. A huge thing in Albany, where the black men actually started lynching back. And so, because you got to think about it, these was just not regular men. These were military, highly trained. These guys, even if they wasn't military, they from the South, so they are different cloth anyway. I mean, clicked out anyway. You have this protection in your DNA because your people have had to protect this place for a long time. And now you see why. Now our generation see why. So then they sent Martin Luther King down there to Albany because they was trying to desegregate it at the time. Albany has always been majority black. Always. And not just majority black, like 80, 90% black. I don't think it has dropped under 60 since the existence of the place. I mean, it's how do you desegregate a place that's 80, 90% black? No, you don't want to desegregate it. You want to take it. You want to take it where you can push all the black people in this little corner and then push them off altogether. And so crime could not desegregate it. Lynching could not get them off that land. Nothing could get them off. And then when white people failed at that, they put a little it's like a sundowner, like a Sunday tried to put like a sundown town outside of the Doherty County area, and that didn't even work. Like along Highway 82, like as you're coming into Albany, it's like a rundown um gas station type thing, hotel. It's a hotel. It's literally called Sundown Hotel, Sundowner something. I don't know. It could be a hotel. It could be. I don't. My memory has failed me on this, but I do know it may be still there. If you're on Highway 82 and you're driving into Albany, you're inside of Doherty County, coming into the city. To right there to your right hand side is called Sundown Town or Sundowner or something. They really tried to turn it and they failed. Them black folks start kicking them folk ass. And then they sent Martin Luther King down there to defuse the situation. And he did not. He was not able to defuse the situation. He got locked up. And then when he got out and started talking to the Negroes, he changed his entire mentality. Now you got a Martin Luther King who is different. He acting different. This was in 1961, right? Who knows about history in here? This is like 1961. When Martin Luther King came to Albany. 1961? It's 1961. And the civil rights movement, they said it ended in 68 when Martin Luther King died. No, but the actual movement, it fizzled out shortly after that, like 62. It fizzled out long before King actually died. Because his mentality changed. He wasn't really trying to just desegregate every city that the white folks wanted him to come down and desegregate and teach the people about nonviolence. You wouldn't have to teach the Albany men about nonviolence if they wasn't violent. No, they stayed dangerous. Martin Luther King could not come to Albany and teach the black men down there shit about, hey, kumbaya. No, them niggas didn't want to hear nothing about no kumbaya. And then Martin Luther King kept mentioning Albany in his speeches. Multiple speeches mentioning Albany. Out of all the cities in America, you could have picked. One of his very last speeches, he talked about Albany. Again, if I had sneezed, I wouldn't be around today. When Negroes in Albany decided to straighten their backs up. He just kept talking about Albany. Because it was a different mentality. Like, you just wasn't going to go down there and run people over. So these operations have to be covert, as I think they are today. So I said all that to say this. This not just a long live. This is just something that I saw and I wanted you guys to see. It said Martin Luther King visited Albany, Georgia several times, mostly notable December 1961. Yeah, I know it's in 1961 when he joined the local civil rights group, the Albany Movement. Exactly, because he lived in the house that I was raised in on Wheeler Street. I was raised on Wheeler Street. My daddy bought the house in 80 something. But Martin Luther King, every time they came to Albany, they stayed in that house. Across the street, on the same street, Wheeler Street, it's a little bitty church on that street. That's where he preached at. It's a little bit of green church. It's like a green little you'll miss it if you're riding down the street too fast. You're gonna miss the church. But they were both historical sites. Some fucking body in Albany told a house that I was raised down in 2022. They was not supposed to do that. Because this is actually listed on the historical site. Somebody did it out of spite, probably. But the church is still up. The church is still up. So Martin supposed to come down there and change them men, and the man changed him. So there you go. There you go. So, I said that to say this: if you live in that area, you may want to pay attention to your surroundings. And this is just Albany. We haven't even. I could really just go and find the map. She said I was there. Um, I missed it. You was where in Albany? You said you was there, and I worked. I visited that home. Which home? Um, if you're in that area down in South Georgia, I was about to say that this particular clay dirt has aluminum in it. Both site has aluminum in it. So the aluminum industry, the iron industry, all uses it. It extracts it out of what's called bauxite. That's the importance of it. That's why it's worth so much money. You need this to make airplanes. You need this to make all kind of stuff. You need it to build buildings. You need the bauxite in multiple areas. They call it the Andersonville corridor or something like that. They don't want to call it the Albany corridor for obvious reasons because Albany got to look like a poor city. So they call it the Andersonville corridor, which is a popular area for prisoners of war during the Civil War. The only thing that's popular about Andersonville is that graveyard that's there, that old Civil War graveyard. So they decide on the commodity side to call it the Andersonville. So a lot of areas down there in South Georgia possibly are being mined just like under your nose, and you don't know what the operation is. You just see crews of people with dump trucks. These people are making a lot of money. A lot of money. A boatload. Which CIA file? Um so guys, I just wanted to show y'all that map right quick. Hopefully people from Albany were able to see that. People from South Georgia. Hopefully they were able to see that. I read about Albany in that declassified file from the FBI. It's a lot of files on Albany. It's a lot of them. He also returned in July and August 1962 for further protests that resulted in the arrest and imprisonment. King later reflected that the Albany campaign, while important, was a strategic misstep. Wow. Wherever you got that from, exactly. It's a misstep. Yeah, them niggas didn't want to hear that shit. You can't come to Albany and give them countrymen no talk about, hey, you just better be good. Them niggas do not want to hear that. You can tell a man from Albany that today. Once these specimens get over 18, you can't tell these men nothing. I've been dealing with them all my life. You can't tell them nothing over 8. That's a grown man. These boys are raised by real men, despite what the media says. Oh, they're raised without fathers. I don't know why they say that about us. I have no clue why they say that. Now, these boys, these country boys are raised by real men. Real men. They know what to do. They know when to be proactive. So, like I said, if they knew who was doing these murders, they would handle it themselves. It's just that covert. I don't know who was taking over the system in Albany. Who was the mayor? Sanford Bishop been around since I was a kid. Probably need to get his ass on up out of office. Cause I know he know about this oil. I know he know about the bauxite. He know about the gas. He know about the water being artesian and being shipped all over the world. He know about all that stuff. He know about the iron oxide. Iron oxide is mined out of Albany, guys. Iron oxide is in almost every product you can pick up. You know how much iron oxide is worth? I don't know what is listed as up under the commodities market, but I know it's mined out of Albany, straight out the dirt. Go in your yard, pick up some dirt, let it fall out your hand that look like quartz crystals. That's iron oxide. Crazy. 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 Oh, I know the Pittman family. I know some of the Pittman family. Yeah, I think Randall might know about this. I don't know where Randall at. He had started a run club down there, but I think he got a shit. Them white boy probably started threatening them. Ain't no telling. You got to have, when you're merging people together, shining a good light on the city, getting them active, you know, and it's a covert mission going on. To keep the people down, to keep crime going on around them so that they'll move out, to keep the corporations strategically paying lower wages, or ending the businesses not coming at all. You're not offering any business incentives to local business owners, you know, nickel and diming everybody on the contracts. When they doing that and you trying to do something positive, boy, you ain't got no military behind you, no militia. Them people will come. Them people come at you. This is White House level shit in this little city. You never know. It could be a presidential home or a president. Cause who does the secret search? I don't know. It's it could be a home tucked down there somewhere in the goddamn woods with a full fucking president, former president, or somebody down there. You never know. You never know. Or they just really following the money and keeping it at bay. I don't know. Anyway, I got to come on here. Yeah, it's executive level shit for sure. Because I got caught up in the this is the Secret Service too. Secret Service. The only reason I even looked up the Secret Service is because when the DOJ reached out to me in May to tell me that I was a victim of these two guys, these two Romanian guys, which I need to do a whole nother show about. These two Romanian guys, one of the guys was the scientist that made the nanoparticles that went on those PCR swabs during COVID. How did they know about me, a little old girl from Albany? How did I get on their radar to be targeted? For 5 years, the Secret Service did the investigation. They stole my money. They stole all my shit. Targeted me in all kind of ways. But how would I even be on their radar? You know why? Because I was sitting here online talking about Albany during COVID. I got in their way. I stopped their money in some kind of way. Whatever they had planned, I was standing right in the middle of it. Loud. Because I wasn't shadow banned at that time. They eventually shadow banned me bad. I was getting kicked off of social media left and right. I was kicked off of Facebook for like 2 years. Like, I know a whole year consecutively. YouTube channels, all this stuff. Those were Romanians. I don't know no Romanians. I ain't never been to Romania. They're in Marshall custody. Now, how is a big time scientist working for the European Union, right up under, in a Bill Gates funded project, how am I a victim in his federal case? How am I one of the victims? It just makes zero sense. Like, no, you don't know me like that. I must have got in the way of some big time money by telling people, hey, don't go in the hospital and all. Been, hey, the COVID shit, don't do it. Don't take the shot. Don't get an insurance policy if you in Albany. I was saying all kind of stuff. Baby, I was windmilling bad. I was windmilling big time. I was calling everybody to the carpet. I had judges, attorneys, mayors, everybody in my chat. Bitch, I'm calling everybody out. I called the mayor all kind of names. Ooh, I call that cracker every name in the book. I was calling, emailing, leaving voicemails. Boy, y'all killing folk down there. You think you gonna get away with that? You would have thought I was the president of the United States, how I was acting during COVID. And this was March 2020. I was the first to I was the first up to bat. So everybody else is getting targeted now, or they got targeted for COVID. Imagine being the first to bat. Man, them people had to turn me into a real life killer. Why you think I was G.I. Joe? How I was in the damn, how them my Marine friends was training me on guns. Like I was trained on guns and knives. They had to turn me into a little bitty killer. How I was getting threatened. Anyway, said that to say this. That's what made me research the Secret Service. Like, where's the Secret Service? They're clearly here in Atlanta with me. And has been for the past 5 years, but outside of being in Atlanta, where else are they? They're in the places with high money traffic, and the 3 places with the highest money traffic, or possibly former presidents that they still protect: Atlanta, Savannah, Albany. That's crazy. That alone. Yeah. Anyway, that's Sterling Brown movie series where they built the town under the ground with the president. It's been plenty of movies made about Albany. Sleepy Hollow, The Headless Horseman, all of that is made by Albany. They said it was an old Indian who did not want nobody to take the land. Some colonizers came down to take the land. He sat there by the riverside. They could not see him because he made himself disappear. This is the old folktale now. He made this Indian had the ability to make himself disappear. That mean to me he was dark. He made himself disappear. The guy ran up on the horse. The guy who was supposed to take the land trotted up on the horse, and when he got near that Indian, the Indian cut his head off, and that became the Headless Horseman, which I think turned into Sleepy Hollow and possibly even more stuff. But apparently that's a real story. Apparently that's a real story. Somebody said, "Behold the pale horse." Yes, she said they brought it here. They had a marathon walk the week it started. That's what they say, Unique, but it came from Atlanta. And so, I mean, did not one and that little marathon, I think they just used that as a cover up because it came from it. The people had it was in Atlanta first. Then not one person yet. We were still outside. We were still partying, literally. And Albany was on full lockdown. And the people who were inside of Albany, for some reason, they could not go viral with telling people what was happening in the city. And that's what made me think Black Lightning was about something that they was finna do. But I feel like Black Lightning was about Albany. It's weird. Like the people couldn't even go viral and let folks know what was going on in the city. So those of us who was outside the city, by us talking about it, people were able to say, "Oh, wait, it's something going on in Albany right now." Wait, what? COVID? What's that? Yeah, they said everybody who's going in the hospital is not coming out. Damn, my phone just went dead on TikTok. Anyway, I wasn't supposed to be on here long, guys. We're gonna come back because I have to show y'all something. I have to show y'all a lot. I'll be live on tomorrow. I want to talk about this Candace Owens stuff. I believe she's running a cover for the Romanians. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow. So be here, okay? Be here. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.